They say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so when my late night show was canceled, I assumed at some point others would follow suit. I mean, after all, I've always been somewhat of a trendsetter. But then Colbert was canceled, and then Kimmel was canceled, and then uncanceled. Thank God, and I hope is still on the air by the time this airs. But honestly, who knows how anything works anymore? Doesn't even matter because the damage is done, and it fucking sucks. So I have some serious choice words for the people in charge of these networks that we thought were too big to fail, showing that there is no point in having fuck you money if you don't say fuck you with it. I thought the whole point of being rich was that no one could tell you what to do. Why on earth would anyone let the government literally tell you which shows to cancel? We're going to be left with just like thousands of leftover, unaired seasons of Duck Dynasty and Dancing with the Stars or something, and they're just going to swap casts back and forth every season. Like, I don't need to be the millionth person to tell you why these cancellations are awful. Why, when fascists take over, often the first thing they do is come for the comedy shows. It's happening. We are in it. And these cancellations make a dark time feel particularly bleak. I beg those who still have any power to use it to take a stand. Okay? You're probably going to lose your show either way. Might as well do something with it while you still have it. I mean, oh boy. Okay. ABC did the right thing by bringing Jimmy Kimmel back, but they never should have made such a mistake that they had to correct in the first place. I really do believe that. My goodness. This is Choice Words. I am Samantha B. My guest this week is comedian Cristela Alonzo. She really is someone who always uses her comedy to say something, and I am just an enormous fan of hers. Her new special, I absolutely loved it. It's called Upper Classy, and you can find it on Netflix. It really was like kind of a beacon of light for me in a pretty dark time. Really loved it. And if you watch that and then you're hungry, that wasn't enough comedy for you. You gotta have more. My show, How to Survive Menopause. We are back on the road and we're hitting Detroit, Grand Rapids, Columbus, Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., and so many more places. It's so fun. Head to samanthab.com for tickets, for details. Until then, take a listen and make good choices. I'm really excited to talk to you.
Me too.
I'm a really big fan.
I think you're great.
Oh, that feeling is very mutual. And I was just saying, I hope you were eavesdropping, but before we started recording, I was talking to my producers about how much I loved your special.
Oh,
I really
thank
thought it was, I really think it's great. It's just super affirming and like, I was maybe in a bad mood and it put me in a good mood. And I feel like that's the goal.
It is actually, I think that my goal in that, it's like my goal in that special was to give that vibe. I think we need more of that right now.
Yeah, we do.
But like properly executed. Like people can say that they want to do that and then their words don't match their actions. And you're like, my God, no.
You're 100% right. And by the way, we're talking about Upper Classy.
Yeah.
So for everyone who's just joining right now, we're talking about Upper Classy, which is like on Netflix now. And it's like from the beginning, your whole look, your whole vibe is super just like infectiously happy. And it's like you just take our hand and you walk us through to another. It's like we enter the cupboard and we're in Narnia. I like super need it. The world is very dark.
It is. It's really dark. And I think that, even when people, it's really interesting. Like, I'm a news junkie. And it's
right.
like that thing where it's interesting to hear what people say. And they can try to literally give you a message of hope, supposedly. The big picture is we want world peace. through all of these violent ways to get world peace. And it's so weird because you're like, it just doesn't match what you're saying.
Well, you literally open the show, you open the special with a joke about ice, but it's like, it's really funny. It's really funny. And I can tell from watching the special that you are super engaged with the news. It's kind of like swirled, like it's like a delicious swirl within the special, but it's not the focus of the special.
No, it's interesting because I also think that there are people that watch the news, there are comics that watch the news, or they don't watch the news and they still talk like they watch the news.
Yes.
It's interesting though, as a comic, you kind of make a choice what you're going to talk about on stage.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do that or are you not going to do that? We're seeing that a lot, in the last week, especially. What do you want to, what do people want you to say? And are you going to say it or are you not going to say it?
Yeah.
And for me, it was just everything about my life everything makes you who you are, and why wouldn't I talk about something in a time where my community is literally being, just attacked. And my problem is that so many people love to vilify communities that they're not familiar with.
Yes.
Because it's an easy way to blame an entity other than themselves for something that didn't happen. Not that everything's your fault, but you can't blame bad luck on something else.
Right. Right. Yes. I mean, it's a very it's organic. It's a very organic experience. It's not like, it's super authentic to your interests and who you are, where you come from and your family. It's a great experience. I'm gonna be highly recommending it to people. Okay, tell me where you're at right now. So you're launching this show, but the world is dark. Like how are you doing before we even launch into talking about choices and all that stuff? Like, how are you actually doing?
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Growing up in my little border town in South Texas, I have always had a resemblance of what we're in.
Right.
My entire life.
Okay.
So in a weird way, it's not new to me. What is new to me is the heightened level of it.
Right.
And that's what's weird. And, so, in a weird way, it's familiar, but it's also foreign at the same time. I've always had a problem understanding privilege, the way that we talk about it, because growing up below the poverty line, being so poor, it's like, I always thought, well, what privilege do I have as a brown woman in the United States? And then as I ascended in my career, I realized, privilege is actually having the power to get people's attention. That is a privilege. And by having that attention, you really have to pick and choose what you do with it. So in a weird way, it's like, sometimes I get disillusioned and sad, but at the same time, I never lose hope. And I always believe that good will always win, because you have to. If you don't believe that, then why are we even trying? I've always said it's like, you got to make a decision, because you've got to make a decision and take action, because whether you like it or not, tomorrow will come, whether you like that or not. So you have to decide how your tomorrow is. So there's moments where I'm very sad.
Yeah. And
there's other moments that still fill me with joy, because you can't be sad all the time.
Well,
and that's coming from someone that struggles with depression. Even I'm like, take it down a notch.
You know what's so funny? I'm on the board of Planned Parenthood of Southern New England, and we had like a big meeting last night, and it's, everything's fucking falling apart. Like the wheels on the bus, everything's on fire, it's flying off the cliff, whatever. But the CEO said something last night that made me think of what you just said reminded me of it. She was like, I'm going to start this meeting where we're going to talk about terrible things with a quote. And the quote is, Hope has a daughter, and their names are Anger and Courage. And I was like,
I love that.
I love that. Obviously, I'm misquoting her, but I wrote it down. When you just write something down and you're like,
I'm that person. Yeah.
I'm going to write that down. I had to check my notes because it's on the same pad that I'm looking at as I'm talking to you right now. I'm like, I'm going to put that on a needle point. I need to look at that every day.
Oh, that would be a great needle point.
Great needle point. Take something that
I needle point.
Well, take something that some huge philosopher said and just like stitch it on a pillow. Just stitch it on someone's life's work. And we're like, 200 years later, we're like, I gotta get them.
Imagine
put it on a t-shirt.
The first person that ever said live, laugh, love, and they're like, nailed it.
They're like, I'm gonna be a billionaire. And they're like, no, everybody just stole it. We didn't need you.
Yeah, we didn't. They're not living, laughing, or loving. They just stole it.
Oh my God. Okay. This show is about choice. We talk about like a big choice that people made. And that's kind of like we've already launched into this conversation. But I'm curious if you can talk about a choice that you made that you feel like just reverberated through your life. And I have a feeling that I think I know what you're going to talk about because it's such a big one. But when I say those words to you, what do you think? What do you think in your life stands out for you as a choice that you made that just like changed the whole trajectory of your life?
I was living in LA. My mom got sick and she asked me to be her caregiver, just give up my life and move back to Texas to care for her.
Wow.
I felt like I didn't have a choice, even though you do.
Yeah.
But I did it. And I think it's interesting. When you're in your 20s, you think that every decision is the last decision you'll make.
Right.
You think it's so big.
Right.
I thought if I leave LA, I will never come back. There's this weird moment that you think, I've made my choice.
Right. This is it.
I'm done. I'm done trying to do what I want to do. And I moved to Texas and I was her caregiver. I took care of her until she passed away. And then I found myself stuck in Texas.
Right.
And you realize you have nothing to do here. You're here, but you don't want to be here. Like, you know, like, you made this decision, not thinking of the aftermath. So I was stuck in Texas and I'm like, well, I need a job.
Right.
And I responded to this help wanted ad that didn't even tell you what it was. And they needed office work. I signed up, I applied, and it was the comedy club. They needed
Get the hell out.
Yeah. They needed an office manager. And I lied. I said I could do all of this office stuff. Never did. Like, you know, and I told my sister, I put you down as my reference. You are my boss. And if they check references, just tell them I'm the best assistant you've ever had.
A comedy club would not check references. They don't make that call. They're like, I can't believe no one showed up.
I know. I really thought comedy clubs were morally...
That's so funny. These guys mean business. They're very good at business.
You guys, let me tell you, my moral code with 2-item minimum is unheard of. But I got the job and seeing all these comics.
Right.
I grew up watching comedy, but I didn't know stand-up was a job. I didn't know that comedy was a job. Right. And after I saw it, you know, I had been living in LA trying to act. Okay. And I thought, man, I'm so miserable. I'm dealing with grief. And I've been just writing stuff about my mom. And I'm like, what if I try to do stand-up to get me over the grief? That's why I started doing stand-up. I was trying to get over my mom's death. And I thought, well, if I can hold this audience hostage and have them hear everything I have to say, I mean, maybe that'll get me over this bump. And once I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is a game changer. This is actually everything I always wanted to do and be. And
at what point did you realize that? Like, was it the first time you stepped out there and you got your first laugh and you were like, hold on, I was just made whole?
I think it was within the first month because I started out in theater. Okay. So I was very comfortable in front of a live audience. And within a month, I realized this was it, because there was a moment, there was like a eureka moment that I had when I was on stage, and I realized, oh, all those auditions I couldn't get for TV and film, now I can write my way into them. Now I can actually create the world that I want. And it's going to be a lot more work because a lot of actors don't have to do that. But I have to, and I'm going to do it. And I thought, I think it just hit me that I can control everything I say and create any character that I want and do anything I want. This is what I want to do with my life.
What a revelation. Like, what a light bulb moment.
Yeah, it's also weird because it's a mental job. It's like it's a thinking job.
Sure.
And my family, we were just always raised to think that jobs were physical.
Right.
So what a luxury it was to have to stumble into this job where you didn't have to work in a field. You didn't have to work in a kitchen. You're just at home writing jokes, and you're like, something about a weather balloon? Like, let's go with that. You know, it's really weird. It's a weird ascension, you know, and that was it.
Even like having the background that you had to have thought to go into theater, to be like, I'm going to be a performer. It is not intuitive if the work of your life is like super pragmatic and everyone around you is like, this is pragmatism, like 100%. And everyone's like, you're going to school? Amazing. You're going to get the most incredible job. And then you're like, actually, theater. And they're like,
and I was also,
no.
I was like a big nerd too, because I've always been into like politics. My mom couldn't speak English, so I used to translate the news for her. So since I was a kid, I was really into the news. So it kind of became part of like injected into my veins, you know?
Right.
And I was a really smart kid. And even in high school, I was like a big theater kid, but I also did academic decathlon. So,
of course.
you know, it was like this thing where, and I was really good at it. And so everybody's like, this woman, go on to the world, be a doctor, be a scientist, save humanity. And I'm like, knock, knock, who's there?
I want to do a cabaret show.
I know, it's like, I could save humanity, but what about this feather boa?
Yeah. I can't even tell you how relatable this is. I feel like in high school, people were like, you could be the prime minister. And I was like, check it out. I have a tickle trunk and it's full of wigs. Do you know what I mean? You're just like, okay, all right.
But you know,
I guess
that is what makes my favorite comics, my favorite moments of comedy.
Yeah.
Are all intelligent people. They're
100%.
The way you have to be funny, be smart, to be funny in a different way. I really think that some of the smartest comics I know make anything relatable in a way where you might not agree with it. It might not be your experience, but you can't deny that it's real. And they do it in a way that doesn't seem preachy, condescending. You actually trick people into caring about certain things when done well.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach the people you want faster. And it makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, with Indeed sponsored jobs, there are no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, and you only pay for results. One of the things I love about Indeed is that they actually have everything that you need to hire all in one place. all in one place. Let's corral it all in one place. Resumes, messaging, scheduling. No more posting on message boards, emailing resumes back and forth, getting lost, trying to keep track of who said what, who said it when. Indeed makes hiring simple, which allows you to hire faster. How fast is Indeed? In the minute I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Samby. Just go to Indeed.com/Samby right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Samby. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. I will say my secondary observation about your work is that you're a very good actor. You're inhabiting characters, like you're inhabiting moments in a really super physical, like really, okay, I also went to theater school. You really feel your back when you're out there. Do you know what I mean? Like your back, like I feel your 360-degree performance of something, and it is very relaxing for me. You're so comfortable.
I love it.
in yourself so fully that we can all just go, whew, okay, like I'm in good hands. That's fine.
It's also, it's like I don't do crowd work, so the audience doesn't have to feel like I'm going to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think that people don't realize in comedy, and especially at stand-up, you're teaching the audience how to behave at the venues.
Yes.
So when people see people that are doing crowd work, so many people that go see stand-up think they're going to get talked to, spoken to at these shows.
Individually, as an individual.
Makes them so nervous. So you set up a world immediately where I'm like, if you've gone to see me, you know that I don't care what you do for a living. Like this is my moment. You paid to be here. We're going to talk about me. There used to be a trend in stand-up specials. Comedy Central was notorious for it, where they would have the specials and they would have jokes where it's like, my grandmother the other day, and they pan to an old woman in the audience to make sure that it was okay that, look, there's a grandma looking person that's also laughing at this joke. It's so okay. It's okay, everyone. Here it is. It's so weird. But I also like, what my favorite thing in stand-up is actually having moments where they're not laughing. Yeah. I loved sitcoms growing up that had serious moments. Yes. I always thought that was just like a slice of life. It made you appreciate the moments of joy when you had the sad moments, but you realize that both were necessary in order for the story to be important. Yes, it's like it's storytelling, and you're storytelling. It is actually so okay. And for me too, as an audience, I'm like I don't want to be holding my sides and catching my breath. I'm missing that. Like I want to be told a story in addition to laughing. Like it's all. Who did you watch? Like, what did you watch when you were growing up? Oh, man. I have always been a big fan of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Yes. To me, that show really encapsulated everything I wanted to be as a kid, which I didn't know what I wanted to be. I loved that she was a single woman that was in like this professional news world where you didn't see a lot of women doing that. And she never lost her kindness and just likability, despite being in this environment that was very full of Ted Baxters. So it's like I loved that. I also grew up with the typical like Norman Lear, right? The Norman Lear shows. The Norman Lear shows were so theatrical. When I had my sitcom years ago, I always told people that like sitcoms, network sitcoms to me were great because I always referred to them as theater for the poor. Oh. Because you might not be able to afford cable, but you have an antenna. And those are networks that are accessible to everyone. And
Right.
in the border town, I love Broadway. You know,
Right.
I would watch A&E back when they would do arts and entertainment.
Right. 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 Right.
They actually had like these shows. They used to have a show on Sunday morning called Breakfast with the Arts. And
Oh,
Breakfast with the Arts would show you opera, ballet, musicals. And you never knew what it was, but I watched it every Sunday. I loved it. I loved it. And it was like this thing where when I would watch a play or a musical or an opera, I was so invested in the story that I always wanted to find that kind of caliber of programming in TV shows. So I always wanted to find the stories that said something. And, you know, it was wild to see the episodes, the very special episodes. Of the 80s.
Always very special episodes.
You don't really have them anymore. Like,
Not
at all. You know, so it's really weird how when I was a kid, you could watch an episode where Janet Jackson gets like abused by her mom on Good Times.
Can I tell you something? You remember the scene where like she's just holding the iron? It's the literally the shot of the iron in Good Times will be with me until the day I die.
I always think of that shot too. I always think of that.
Always.
I always think of it. And it's that thing where imagine the feeling that it evokes in you. It's the same show that's known for Jimmy Walker saying dynamite. Like there's something. Yeah. Both things can exist in the same world.
100%. And it was like such a goofy show with such serious elements.
Yes. And I loved it. I love being able to tell those kinds of stories. I love that. That's why I also, you know, I just feel like anything can be done well. Anything can be a joke if it's done well. If you're not punching down, if you're not insulting, if you bring in a fresh perspective that I haven't heard, even if I don't agree with you, I'll respect that it's funny.
I do think like what is missing for me as a viewer, because I'm also like kind of grew up, I'm older than you, but like grew up in that same kind of television world. Just, I constantly watch television. Like I watch television the way that, and people tried to get me to stop watching television the way we all try to get our children to stop going on TikTok now. It's like kind of the same thing. My family would be like, we will give you $1 per night if you don't watch television. Your eyes are going to be square. And I was like,
Samantha, family ties will be there tomorrow. Go to bed.
Oh my God. But like, I actually think like what for me as a viewer that's really missing right now, I had this whole conversation with someone recently. I'm like, everything is like shows were demonstrated economic diversity when I was growing up. There was like kind of everything. There was like, I watched Sanford and Sons and I watched The Jeffersons and I watched The Cosby Show. Like, okay, but still it was aspirational in the sense that we're like, oh, here's a professional family. They live in a brownstone in Brooklyn. Like, that's pretty cool. And that was what was aspirational, like just like professional family, making it work, urban lifestyle. And now all the shows are just like the richest people in the world have a pool in their basement. They're wearing clothes you cannot even find. That's how exquisite they are. I'm like, can I aspire to fucking something that's like real?
Absolutely. Give me something. Give me hope.
Give me
hope that I can be on someone's similar journey that I'm watching on TV.
Yeah, like at least show me like a coat that I can go like, can I look that up? Like, let me shop the show. I can't do that anymore. I'm like, where are they going in their jet? It's just waiting over every show. It's just like.
And everybody's very young.
Everybody's very young.
And they have all the money in the world and they're very young.
All the money in the world. So much spare time. Everybody's young. Everybody's wearing so much jewelry to the gym. I'm like, give me some levels.
Yes.
Show me some other worlds. It's either like The Road and we're just like post-nuclear war. Or we're like, we live in a castle in London.
It's so true. It is so true. And I remember when I pitched my sitcom, I I was trying to explain it. It was based on my family. So I was trying to explain that they were a poor family, but they were happy.
Right.
We were poor, but we were happy.
Wait, you're in Hollywood meetings.
Yes.
Trying to tell people that you don't have to be super rich to be happy. Meanwhile, all the people in that room are super rich and they don't know a single happy person. They're like, that's impossible. Look how unhappy we are.
Yes. And I remember not realizing how ridiculous it would sound to them. I should have just been pitching Never Ending Story because that was more realistic than the show that I was pitching. It was just like, I was trying to explain to them, like, my family grew up really poor. Sometimes we didn't have money. Like, we'd get our utilities disconnected. And when we had no electricity, we would turn on this radio from Radio Shack and we would just listen to songs and laugh and tell stories. And we would sing along with the songs. And everybody's looking at me like,
they're all crying. They're like, that's the saddest thing.
Yes.
Like, no.
Yes.
No.
And it's weird because you realize that you're going by the perceptions that they have of being poor. You can't be happy and be poor. You have to be miserable. You got to just cry. You're always crying. You're thinking of bread because you can't afford bread. Like, give me something sexy.
You're dreaming about bread. You're dressed in rags. You have one peg leg. You're hobbling down the cobblestone street. It's like, fuck, man, there's other...
Yes.
Lots of diversity in the world.
A 7-layer burrito. Each of you has one layer. But I remember I pitched it and there was an executive, and I don't know if she's still around. She's probably the head of something now.
Probably.
But like the executive, after I pitched it, she was like, yeah, that sounds sad. I see Latinos coming to this country and they're killing it. They're like everywhere in my neighborhood. And like she goes on this tangent and she's describing these Latinos. And immediately I'm like, everyone you described is working in your neighborhood. They don't live there. Do you understand? The way that you explained, did you realize that everyone you're describing is working as you're walking by them?
I see Latinos all the time, and they're just like joyfully blowing leaves or whatnot, or like fixing my
leaves is
just like playing around with my sprinkler system or whatever, or just like.
Do you know that Latinas like to push strollers for fun? It's their hobby.
We love babies, and they're always pushing like twins or like little white twins, double wide strollers.
It is a weird perception that everybody has to be rich. Everybody has to be rich and successful. And, you know, my whole argument was, well, exactly what we're talking about. You give me nothing to work towards. So why am I watching this? You know, why am I? And you don't have to give me something. You know, I'll find it. But give me something.
You could actually just give me, like, I don't need to find every show aspirational, like economically. I could find something aspirational, like physically, like emotionally, like how we all watched Friday Night Lights and we were like, look at that couple. People can just relate to each other. And you're like, I really enjoy watching people relate to one another. I don't always have to be like, where do those lockets come from?
And it's a weird one too. It is. It's weird because there's not a lot, like everybody lives in New York, LA in the shows. There's not a lot of like small towns. There are, but like really even then they're doing well for each other. I mean, look at the Gilmore Girls, you know, like they're always drinking hot liquids, walking around with nowhere to go. Like,
I have time to sip. I have so much time to sip. I love this section I really love in the special talking about taking your family on vacation.
Yeah.
And having to learn as a unit how to be on vacation. Because nobody really knew how to relax.
You never realize that you have to Google it.
How do I, dear Google, what is a vacation? What does that mean? But like learning.
How do I enjoy life?
What do people do? Like just getting to Hawaii and being like, well, what do we do? Now we're here. Where do we go?
Yes.
Are we
Well, yes,
supposed
also,
to?
I'm the youngest of four, so my siblings are like 11, 13, 15 years older than I am.
Right.
And it's hard to teach yourself new ways of living when you've spent your entire life living a certain way. So, which again is something that I wanted to talk about in the special. It's this idea that we're just programmed to always work.
Right.
And we always think that eventually we'll have fun, but we got to work first.
Right.
And to me, the lockdown was really just such a reminder of how time is not promised to any of us. We don't know what's going to happen. And when I decided to take my family on the first vacation, it was 2016. I had shot the special in August of 2016. I remember after the first taping, one of the Netflix executives asked if I would consider taking some of my Trump jokes away because it was going to be dated because he wasn't going to win.
Oh my God.
This is August 2016, right? So then he did. And I take my family to Hawaii. What I don't talk about in the special is that the day that we landed in Hawaii, we're all hungry, and my family does not like trying anything that is not a chain restaurant.
Okay.
Like they want to know that they can get buffalo wings. Like they don't want to try exotic food. We end up going to Cheesecake Factory.
Okay.
And right when we're waiting, we all split up because there's like an hour wait. And I'm waiting for the table with my oldest brother and my oldest nephew, who is special needs. He has probably the brain capacity of like a sixth grader. He's in his 30s. Okay. And these two guys come up to us and ask us where we're from. And it starts this back and forth where like my brother, super nice guy, tells them, I'm from Texas. They're like, no, where are you really from? And they start trying to assault my brother, my nephew, and I. Because they're like, you're from Mexico, right? You're from Mexico.
Oh boy.
We're not even like an hour into the Hawaii vacation. So my nephew's playing a Nintendo DS that I just got for him because his birthday was the day before. And the guys think that he's recording them. So they try to like my nephew. And I get in and I tell them, you can do anything you want to me. You're not touching this guy. And I don't know if you remember, in 2016, right after he won, there were women, there were a lot of women, female friends of mine that were, well, not acquaintances, that were trying to say, if you wear a safety pin, that is a safe sign that like, if you wear a safety pin, like, you know, it's like the safety pin movement, we're going to come in and help and blah, blah, blah. No one helped. And
oh my God.
They ended up leaving. And we found ourselves really sad. Obviously. Yeah. We're at Cheesecake Factory in Hawaii. And my nephew keeps asking me why that happened. And now I'm there for a week with them and I'm trying to teach them how to have fun. But now in their mind, they're wondering, are we allowed to have fun? So that adds another layer to it. And it's that thing where you realize, oh, I have two obstacles. Now I have this thing that happened. And how do I deal with that? But now I have to teach everybody, it's okay. Now we can have fun. And it really was the next day, our first full day of Hawaii, we realized we didn't know what to do. We were never taught to not do anything. Right. I never learned how to ride a bike. I can't swim. There's a lot of things in my life that I've never been able to do because I didn't have the chance to learn. Right. And people, it's insane. It's really funny how people everybody thinks that their experience is the unique, like everybody's experience. Well, oh, can't you swim? I can swim. Well, like, why can't you ride a bike? I can ride a bike. And it's like, you have to understand my family, we did not have this kind of life. We're going back decades to where so many people learn things as kids. We're learning them as adults. Yeah. And a lot of things that you take for granted are complete challenges for us. And after that Hawaii trip, which they ended up having fun at, I started just doing these little trips, and my family's happy going to like, I took my brothers to Pittsburgh. They lost their shit in Pittsburgh. Like they
Pittsburgh's great.
Pittsburgh.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, and like they like you would think that you have to spend all this money to take them to exotic locations. They love any city in the United States because they're like, it's the United States. Like we're getting to see this country that we've never been able to see. And that's wild. This is what I love to do. And I do it because we need to feel joy, and we need to know what joy feels like, because so many of us never had the opportunity to really ever be taught to not always work.
Yeah. Yes. Did you ever teach yourself to ride a bike?
No, I just bought one.
Well, I taught myself to ride a bike when I was an adult. So it can be done.
Was it hard for you?
No, it was actually easier as an adult because I never learned. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I slept in twin beds with my grandmother. Like I didn't.
I slept in a twin bed with my mom.
I know. I saw it in this bed. Yeah.
Wow.
Twin beds in a small apartment. I think I had a bike briefly, but I was so scared of it because I was like it wasn't like, oh, everybody just gets on a bike. Like it wasn't like that. It was very specific experience. Yeah. I never learned. It never came up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes
just like
it's not part of your life. Why would you ever think of doing it? You know?
Yeah. Why would you take your bike on the elevator by yourself in a 1-bedroom apartment and then ride your bike down the roads with all the cars to your school? We're like, what? But that's so funny. You just bought a bike.
Yeah. Well, I just started swimming lessons too.
This is fucking great. I love this. I'm
on my second swimming lesson. I'm terrified. Right. I'm struggling, but it's the city of Santa Monica. I live in Santa Monica. Yeah. They do classes. It's like about $50 for 7 classes. I'm like, I'll try it. And I'm making myself do it because how can I go up on stage and judge my family? Like, look at these boring guys that never learned to enjoy life. And I'm like, anyway, I can't swim, so I decided to do it. And
I think that's great. I think that's great. You know what? I would take my bike out because I was like, everybody in the world knows how to ride a bike except me. I'm like, how am I fucking in my 20s? I'm like, I don't know how to do it. So I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go to a parking lot with my bike. And I was like, I understand balance though. Yeah. Like I pictured it. Yeah. I was able to as an adult, visualize what it was supposed to look like and feel like. So it made it a little easier. And now whenever I'm on a bike, I feel like a child. You might get on a bike, learn how to ride it, and you will feel like a 7-year-old. And so free.
It's important to feel like that.
Yeah. Just wind in your hair.
Isn't it weird how in life we put so much importance in being in your 20s and 30s? Mm-hmm. All the big birthdays. Oh, I'm 18, I'm 21, 25, 30. But it's weird how when I turned 40, 40 is a birthday that so many people hate.
Right.
Because it's monumental of like, oh, I'm old now.
Now I'm halfway to death.
Yes. And it was funny when I turned 40, I realized if I'm lucky to live, into my 80s minimum, I still have a whole lifetime that I've lived left to live. And it's weird how we don't think about it like that. We always just put so much importance in our 20s and 30s. And then nobody ever talks about their 40s, 50s, 60s. And, I was reading this article about how female characters on TV and film, there's been a big decline of roles for women over 40, and it's weird because you're thinking, but there's so much to live, especially as an adult. I have money as an adult that I didn't have as a child. I tell everybody my aesthetic is mid-century Pee-wee's Playhouse. My house is ridiculous. I shop at West Elm, but I also have toys, and there's something really great about that.
It's great. It's joyful. There's stuff the beginning of something else. It's like a new, because you care also less about what other people think. And that gets better over time. You just like let go of all of it, kind of. I
Isn't
think
it weird how like
gets,
I always heard people, especially women in their 40s say, as you get older, you don't care what people think. And I remember thinking, how is that possible? And then I got to that point and I'm like, oh, it's so hard to explain. Like you don't care. Like you just don't care.
Just don't care anymore.
If I'm on social media and someone doesn't like me, I'm like, unfollow me. Someone will take your place. Move on.
Yeah. Please move on. I don't have the energy to care.
Exactly.
Life's too short. It becomes like, I think it's like, there's a lot of like life's too short moments.
Yes.
And I think it's very beneficial to just be like, life's too short to deal with people like you.
Yes.
I'm not going to.
Yes.
Bye.
And it's like back to like the choice. Like, it's like when I started doing stand-up, when I started doing everything, like looking back at it, it was such a weird, awkward, hard time for me. But looking back at it, it's weird when you look back at your life as a whole, and then you understand why it all happened.
Right.
You don't see it at that moment. It's kind of like when people say, my prayers weren't answered, right? And I'm like, well, they were. The answer was just no. Technically answered. You didn't like the answer, but they were answered.
That's so funny.
But you did get it. You just didn't get the response that you wanted. And sometimes when we don't get the thing that we want, you're miserable, of course.
Of course.
There's always later on you realize that thing wasn't for me.
You must tell people, and I get asked the question a lot of like, how can I make a career for myself in the arts? And I think that it's very much like what you've talked about today. And what I always tell people is write for yourself. Similar to me, like I just started writing with no expectation of opportunities in the future. I was just like, well, I like to perform. And the only path to that is me doing it myself with my friends in like sketch comedy for me. But like, that's our chance to perform. And that's kind of fine. And if it's just that, and then I get another job, that's totally fine.
Yeah,
like to perform. So it's like finding joy in the nugget of the thing that you love and just doing that.
Well, and I think that's the real success, right? Is being able to find the joy in what you do. When I remember when I moved to LA, you'd meet a lot of people that moved to LA and they're like, I'm giving myself a year. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
365 days.
And you're like, this is how long it takes you to just figure out your neighborhood. It's like, it also, we forget that when you love something, when you truly find something and you get to do it and you pursue it, when you love something, the lifelong dream takes a lifetime. There is no end to the dream because all of it's the dream, all of it, but it is that weird thing where like, you have to really want to be happy doing it and be content with being happy doing it. Because if you're trying to be rich and famous, you are going to fail miserably because people never quantify what that means. How much fame makes you happy? What's the amount that makes you happy? Because now we're just throwing out these vague, bland terms that you don't know what it means. There's a line in the special where I say that I made it when I could put my bills on auto pay.
Yes.
Right? And I meant it. To me, being able to not have a day job that I didn't want to go to and have the opportunity to do what I do and love it, that's it. Like I want, there's no more to go. It's like you just maintain it, and you don't think about, well, what else can I have? It's like, well, what do I have right now?
Yes. That's a very hard lesson, I think, in this country, very specifically. It's like there always seems to be more. And I think this is a conversation I have a lot on this show, actually. I'm like, what is enough? What does enough look like that you are just content? Like contentment is the goal, not ecstatic, not constant ecstatic happiness. If that's your goal, you're going to be so fucking disappointed no matter who you are, because constant ecstatic happiness, like orgasmic happiness, is not a 24-hour experience. And that would not be good. No one wants that.
Then that gets boring.
That would be boring. Contentment, like satisfaction, is
absolutely. And it's weird because that's one of the problems with social media, right? Is that now we're just always chasing the dopamine. As a kid, I could go to school, go to the book fair, and buy a poster of a cute puppy or kitten, and it would just be like the one picture of a cute kitten and puppy that I have. Now on social media, it's like more puppies, more the kittens. You know?
I want to see that kitten eat a watermelon. Look at the little sounds it's making. It's grunting.
And now by saying that, just my phone just probably heard me, and they're like, "This bitch wants all the dogs in the world."
Oh my God! Send me more videos of turtles eating strawberries.
And it's weird because like now we are we're in a turducken of dopamine.
Yeah.
It's dopamine inside of dopamine inside of dopamine. And it makes me wonder what kind of emotions that really elicits from people, where it's just, you know, I like dogs and I like cats. I'll see a lot of videos of cute dogs and cats. And, you know, now we've evolved to where now you see AI videos of dogs and cats working. Like I'll actually see an AI cat ringing people up at a grocery store. And I'm like, so in these AI figures, you're making the cat work? This is the country we live in?
Where I thought you said I saw a cat twerking. And I was like, I'm going to look that up after. I'm gonna like, wouldn't mind seeing an AI of a cat twerking.
Actually, I would repost that.
Or some guinea pigs twerking, like just all of them. That'd be pretty cute. But like, no, I know what you mean. It's like, I think we're entering a zone. I mean, I'm hoping where we're kind of being more conscious, or like those of us who want to be happy in life as people are learning how to consciously like uncouple from social media in specific ways. It's incredibly useful tool. You need it for work. It's whatever. But if it is your constant companion and your best friend, probably a good time to learn to take up horseback riding.
Ooh, that's very a romantic novel of you.
Isn't it? It's a very, or just whatever, be on the bogs, just do Wuthering Heights. Easy.
You have to. And I think that, you know, the search of finding this dopamine that will maintain this ecstatic level of happiness, it starts interfering with your life in regards to something as simple as sleep.
Yeah.
Because then you stay up. There is no end of the day if you're on your phone. You're just looking for things, and you stay up late looking up for the next cooler thing that that will top the other thing you saw. And that's exhausting.
Listen, when you take your swimming lessons and you put your swim cap on and you go under the water, the silence, like the peace under the water, I want that for you. Just that, like the quiet, just like the whooshing of water. It's like a sound bath of the glorious peace. You're going to love it.
You know, I'm terrified.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Floating on my back.
Okay.
Because it's the idea of not having control of my feet on the ground.
Yep.
And I see people at the pool doing that. And I see them, and I'm so jealous, but so excited to possibly get to that point where I can float on my back and be like that. It's almost like you're seeing the after picture. I'm the before picture and that's the after picture. Like, at least I know what I'm working towards. I'm working towards floating on my back.
That's incredible. I'm gonna end right here. We've been talking for an hour. That's the most beautiful image to end on. Just like the water holding you. Oh my God, I love it.
Tranquility.
I got to tell you, I loved your special. I've loved this conversation. I want to thank you so much for saying yes.
You know, can I just say, I auditioned for The Daily Show twice.
You did. And
the first round is always picking a piece.
Right. Yes.
I always chose your pieces. They were...
You did?
The last one that I auditioned with for the first round was when it was the Britney Spears. You're dressed up as Britney Spears. You're pregnant. And I always told everybody, as somebody that loves the news, somebody that loves to be political, but just appreciates it, what you have done to me, like what you have done and what you've been able to do is just, it's so important because it's a space where we don't have enough. And you were at that moment so necessary. And it was just something that was lacking. And I think that it was just, we talked about my special, but you have to know that for somebody like me, you on that show and your show after everything that you've done gives a glimmer of hope that we can be funny and talk about important things and entertain people while actually teaching and saying something.
Oh my God, you've got me all misty. I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry at the end of this, but that's a huge compliment. And I really took that on board. Thank you. I just grabbed.
I hope you feel it in your back.
I felt it in my back. I felt it in my front. I want to thank you for that. And just highest. I just think you're great. So thank you.
Thank you.
That was Cristela Alonzo, and I had no choice but to look up one thing. We were talking about how she's learning to ride a bike and to swim, and how I also taught myself how to ride a bike as an adult. Are we outliers? Are there more people like us? Well, turns out a quarter of adults can't ride a bike, and a fourth of adults also can't swim. Actually, I'm impressed. I guess it's an amazing thing, actually, that she's learning. I think that is super cool. And I think I'm cool too. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha B, and we will see you next week for some more choice words. Thank you for listening to Choice Words, which was created by and is hosted by me. The show is produced by Svea Baron-Reinstein with editing and additional producing by Josh Richmond. We're distributed by Lemonada Media, and you can find me at RealSamB on X and Instagram. Follow Choice Words wherever you get your podcasts or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.